Welcome to Dare a New Belief, a place to discover what is possible for your life after the loss of a loved one, and where you will find inspiration, insight, support, and love, and hopefully a bit of laughter to help you through your day. Now, here's your host, Nada Hogan.
Welcome to Dare a New Belief, where you will find light and life, love and joy, healing, faith, and hope. A place where you get to believe in what is possible for your life. Today, I get to bring back a guest that I had last week. Daniela DiNardo is back with us again, and we're going to continue our conversation about being adopted from Romania and now living in the United States. And just a quick little background on Daniela. Please go back to episode 1 to hear all of her beautiful accomplishments here. But Daniela was born in Romania and was adopted by an Italian-American family and grew up in New York City. Daniela she's wonderful is what she is. I just lost my train of thought. Daniela has done many things in her life, but right now her focus is on sound healing, a business that just launched in May of 2019. Her company is called Namaste Meditated, and Daniela and her company is dedicated to helping individuals find solace within and navigating to their truest purpose by using crystal alchemy singing bowls and meditation. Stepping into her sound healing career, she has harnessed her truest passion and talents to serve others, and she does that beautifully. Welcome back, Daniela. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, I'm so excited to do this. So we covered a ton of information in part 1. And so listeners, if you need the background on Daniela about being adopted from Romania, she's got a great story. It's just a fabulous story. Please go and listen to part 1. But now in part 2, I want to dive in a little bit more about your personal experience once you got to be older and understood that you were adopted and how all of that affected you. So my first question that I would like to ask you is, how old were you when you found out that you were adopted?
Oh, okay. So I was actually pretty young. I don't remember the exact age. I think I was young, probably about 4 or 5. And I was at the country house with my mom during the summer, and I had been watching something on, VHS. I think it was Full House, and they had all the kids in the house, and it was so busy and full, and I was wondering, okay, all right, like that looks like fun. Where's everyone else for me? And so I asked my mom, not really like thinking, do I have any, like, where are my brothers and sisters? And she said, well, you do have some. You have a brother and 2 sisters, and they're from Romania. You were adopted in Romania. And, you're here now and we love you. And that was it.
Oh, wow. So you have 1 brother and 2 sisters in Romania.
Yeah, I have no contact with the family there. I just never really was interested in pursuing contact. I had heard so many different stories where, not only, some people just don't want to meet the child that they gave up for adoption, but then also some people in those circumstances actually want some sort of, I guess you'd call it like reimbursement from the child that they put up for adoption, because they see it as like, okay, we give you up for adoption. This allowed you to have this great life. What's our cut? And that's, not true for everyone, but it was just never a scenario I was interested in putting myself. But someday, I may go back just to visit the country.
Right. Wow. And that to me is so amazing that there that there could be that feeling. I suppose it's a little bit like in envy also, that you were adopted, you lived this really great life over in the United States, and we deserve to be reimbursed for you having this fabulous life.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it's the things that you just never even would think of, that I find that just wildly fascinating. So,
Of course. And on the flip side, I mean, I have a girlfriend who actually, my mom connected with her mom when they were both in Romania looking to adopt children. Her mom ended up adopting 2 twin boys out of an orphanage. They had, I think, been 1 year old at that point, or a little over 1 year. And she was a baby just like myself, and we were both in the hospital. And she actually went on to go back to Romania, and she is now there caring for the family that has been orphaned by her birth parents. So she's taking care of the younger generation and the, I guess, the grandparents too right now.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, super, super incredible.
Wow, so she's back there right now doing that. Is that what you said?
Yeah, yep. She went back and she got a dual citizenship so she could stay and help them.
Wow. All the beautiful things that happen, right? I mean, it's just, so gorgeous. So for sure you have one biological brother and 2 biological sisters. Now, did your mom and dad, your parents in New York City, did they have any children, or are you the only child?
Oh no, I'm the only child. Yep.
Okay. And is that pretty great, being the only child?
Yeah, it was all right. It had its perks, but I'll be honest, there were a lot of those moments when they didn't want to drive me around as a kid up in the country house, and I really would have liked somebody to play with.
Right. Yes, it's got its ups and downs.
Exactly. You got it.
Oh, absolutely. Wow. All right. So what would you say was the hardest thing about being adopted, or is there even a hard thing about being adopted?
Honestly, I think in the subconscious, maybe it has some effect to some degree at some point, but nothing that I can really pinpoint. But what I can say is it's the only downside that I've really encountered this far is, 1, I can't run for president yet. And 2, I don't know my health history. So sure, other than doing a DNA test, every time I go to the doctor, they're like, oh, and what's your history? This, that, and the other. And it's like, I don't know, just do everything, that kind of thing. So it's really more of a biological, I guess, uncertainty rather than a emotional uncertainty, if that makes sense.
Yes, completely. So you didn't, when you were adopted, there's not any information that came over from your mother or your father about any kind of health concerns that, anything that's
hereditary? Honestly, I don't even think that they might have known, you know what I mean? They definitely weren't, they were from a poor, a bigger city, but, well out in the outskirts. And it's just, I don't think that was something that was really thought of then.
Right. Okay. So do you have, are you married right now, or no? You're not married, right?
No, I have a boyfriend though. We've been together for some time, and we'll see.
Yeah. So do you think, is that the we'll see? Do you think you'll have kids? How do you feel about having children? Or is that something you even think about? You're busy doing your sound healing, and I'm not even.
Yeah.
adopted, but no.
I'll be honest. I still feel pretty young, like just emotionally, not really there yet. But I mean, I've always had like the thought of, oh, I was adopted, so maybe someday I'll adopt too. But other than that, I haven't really given it much thought.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So do you believe is the greatest blessing of being adopted? And maybe you haven't even discovered all of it yet. I feel like all these types of questions are, sometimes we have to go our whole lifespan and be able to see all of the gifts and blessings that we have out of a situation that, sometimes we just don't fully know until we have lived a long, 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 long life. So up until this day, what is the biggest blessing for you for being adopted?
I think as I get older, it's easier to see it as, wow, well, that could have not happened like that, and to see it as more of like luck, you know what I mean, and see it as see how lucky I was, you know what I mean? And realize that it could have not been me, and I could have gone somewhere else or not, you know what I mean? So that's kind of where it's really struck me and made me feel lucky.
Right. Do you feel like, does it feel to you like, and I'm doing air quotations, that you just kind of ride with Lady Luck? Does it feel, because it's a phenomenal story how your mother was able to come to the hospital and get you when literally you're just weeks away before ending up in a orphanage. But does it feel like your whole life you've been kind of lucky?
Yeah, definitely. I can absolutely see that. And I think it's so funny when, some people, they really want to have like that concrete plan in place. But, sometimes I think it's by luck, or chance that things happen. Like I just started down the path of sound healing because I crossed paths with somebody and then decided to go have a private sound bath one day. And I was like, wow, what was that? And so just, all just by chance, I happened to cross paths with her and then go down that avenue. So I definitely think that luck has kind of prevailed. And sometimes, I mean, I think for a long time when I didn't know really what I wanted to do specifically, and I just kept, wanting to help people, like that's all I could really tangibly say, because I have no stomach to be like a doctor or a surgeon or anything useful like that. So I had to think of something else that I could do to help. And I think that so many people go into college with like the plan of what they want to do. And I kind of kept thinking like, okay, my plan is to get through college. Let's see what happens after with this business thing. And I think all by luck and circumstance, it's kind of led me to where I am.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because you're a little ways. It's great to have all of that business background from school and to help your business now. Absolutely. But yeah, you are in a different arena right now doing the sound healing and the sound baths. And we'll talk about that in just a moment. But I want to know, because you are absolutely a healer. You love helping everybody, or helping people. I shouldn't say everybody. You love helping people, those who are seeking help, and you are very good at it. So what advice would you give to a young mother who is thinking of placing her child up for adoption?
That's so. It's tough just because it's every situation is so different. But honestly, if it's going to better the child, I would have no hesitations about it. Especially because of how lucky we are to have the healthcare system that we do, and you might worry, what if they don't get adopted right away? But it's just. They will. They're adorable. They're cute. They're babies, and they're going to be okay. And if you really, really think that by giving the child up for adoption is going to better the child, then trust that intuition, because I think they will be.
Yeah, yeah, beautiful. And what would you say to a person who has discovered that they are adopted, or maybe they have known for a long time and they're struggling with that? They're just having a really hard time accepting the fact that they were adopted. What are your words of wisdom around that?
I think it's easy to, I don't want to dumb it down by saying overthink it, but I think it's easy to kind of go down the rabbit hole of thoughts of, oh, well, what is, just all the questions that could arise. And I think that, I find myself mostly wondering, I think it's fascinating that people look like other people in their family and stuff like that. Because, everybody says, people say I look like my birth parents, which I guess I'm sorry, not my birth parents, like my parents. They say I look like my parents.
Yeah.
And I know that I'm adopted, and I always think it's so funny. But then I always think, oh, wow, it's so weird that there's other people out there who might, have my eyes or something like that. You know what I mean? So that's kind of where I go with the thought process. But I'd say if somebody's struggling with it personally, just dive into and ask yourself, what do you want to know? Like, what is going to make you feel sure? Because where you come from is who raised you. You know what I mean? It's not, I come from Romania, but that's not, people ask, I tell them my story, I'll tell them when I'm adopted, and they say, oh, do you speak Romanian? It's like, no, I wasn't there. I just was adopted from there. You know what I mean? And it's who raised you that really, forms your life. Like, my parents raised me, so that's who my family is.
Right. Absolutely. And it's very much, and I love that. I love that people say to you that you look so much like your parents, because I think we do. I think the people we spend the majority of time with, that we end up having resemblances to them. And I have to be careful with that because my husband has a beard. So it's like, I don't want to have any of that stuff going on. But I think we do. I think we have resemblances to the people we spend time with. And, I just love it. And I know that your identity is absolutely not that you have been adopted. And I know that you know that, and you're just a beautiful human being. But I was just so taken aback when you were sharing your story about being adopted from Romania. And it was like, oh, I just need to know more about this and have you on this show. And yeah, I love what you've had to say to other people, the wisdom that you shared in advice. If, I'm thinking about putting this baby up for adoption, I don't know for sure. And, I'm struggling with knowing that I am adopted. And I find it so wonderfully comforting that you are so well-adjusted and happy and just living this beautiful life and doing fabulous things with your parents, because I know you're going to be doing this great trip with them here pretty soon. Well, they're already there, but you're meeting up with them. And It's just being able to live that full life. And, what a blessing that your parents adopting you is such a beautiful blessing. And, you're just Daniela, and that's just part of your story amongst many, many, many other things that make you everything that you are. Yeah. Gorgeous. So tell us a little bit. So you had a personal sound bath with somebody, and that led you down the path of you becoming a sound healer yourself. So can you share with us what happened with you when you had the personal sound bath? What did you experience?
Yeah, so I had a sound bath with the copper vessel, and I went there with really no expectation, because other than what I had experienced kind of online, I had no idea what to expect. And when she, had me laying down on the floor, with the blankets and the pillows, it's all comfortable. And then I had the sound bath, and I told her, I said, she asked me what, what kind of intention do you want to set for this sound bath? I said, honestly, I really have no idea other than I just kind of want to connect with my breath. And I realized, with work and just everything like that, just the way I've been feeling from work, I hadn't even been taking a full breath. Like maybe I had, scientifically, but it did not feel like a full breath. Like it felt like a choking breath. Like I was not, I was okay, but I wasn't breathing. And when I left that first session, I felt like I had connected with that inhale and exhale, and just the clarity, that came afterwards. I think I was super impacted. And during the sound bath, I actually, right at the end, I felt I knew I was laying on the floor, and this never ever happens to me, but I knew I was laying on the floor, and I felt like my feet flew right over my head, like somebody flipped me on one of those zero gravity things. Yeah, and I was like, what? And I knew, and I just felt my fingers, and I knew where I was. I was okay, but it was the weirdest thing, and so ever since then I've been hooked.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I love it. Yeah, because it's such an experience. I've not had a private sound bath like that, so I've not been able to experience that, only in a group setting. But yeah, that's a phenomenal way to experience a sound bath.
Yeah, it was super amazing, and just like I said, the clarity that I found afterwards, really connecting with that intention that I had set, even though it seemed so small, just the inhale and exhale, and really being present for that breath, because I felt like I hadn't been breathing.
Right. Well, and the majority of people go through life with that shallow breathing that you were talking about. It's so shallow. It's not even coming close to reaching the bottom lobes of our.
Not at all.
No. So, and we don't recognize that most of the time unless somebody helps and walks us through that. So it's beautiful that you got to reconnect with your breath. And from that moment on, I'm assuming that you are very conscious of your breath and connecting with it all of the time. Yeah. Oh, Daniela, I'm so grateful to have you on the show and for you to share all of this information about your story up until now. Yeah, because our time is starting to come close here. So I'm going to start driving this home. But I want to thank you, first of all, for being so honest and so authentic and sharing your story with us and sharing your family with us, your family in Romania and your family in the United States. And, really just being open and vulnerable in that. And thank you so very much. I'm so grateful for that.
Thank you so much for having me. I had so much fun.
Yeah. Oh, awesome. Yeah, because it's fantastic. So now we're on to fun, wonderful sound healing baths, and I would imagine personal one-on-one sound healings that you're doing. So for the listeners to get in touch with you, what is the easiest way for them to reach you?
Oh, so they would want to go ahead and either go directly to my website, which is www.namastemeditated, that's with a D at the end, .com, or they can follow me on Instagram at Namaste Meditated, or they can follow me on Facebook at facebook.com/Namaste Meditated.
Perfect. And that information will be in the show notes. So anybody who is driving or doesn't have paper and pen close by, no worries. Information will be in the show notes. And so you can jot all of that information down. And I know that you have a list of live events that are either posted or will be coming up very soon. So if people are in I know you said the New York City area.
Yeah,
and if
they're in the Albany, New York, upstate or Western Massachusetts, all that kind of area. I'm currently I'm up in Albany, New York, which is kind of at the corner of Massachusetts, Vermont, and New York. So a little bit of everything.
There you go. The corner of happy and healthy. I love it.
Exactly.
Well, thank you so much, Daniela. And again, I will make sure that we get the Albany, New York, and their upstate New York in there so people can find your live events and attend them because you are a gifted healer. And again, thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And for all of the listeners, I know that you gleaned nuggets of wisdom from this conversation, and hopefully you can help another young person who is struggling with anything around adoption. And in the meantime, of this week to next week, I wish you very well and have a blessed and glorious week. Bye-bye.
Thank you for spending time with us today. Please go to nadahogan.com for show notes and other information you can use right away. If you like what you heard here, please subscribe to our show and don't forget to rate and review right there on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Play, or wherever you get your shows. And don't forget to tell your friends about it. We'll see you next week.